Happy 14th of December. Have you already bought or cut down your Christmas tree? Or maybe you have a plastic one that you reuse every year? Or perhaps it's not your thing at all, or something you'll consider when you're more settled. All major Danish cities have a large Christmas tree on their main square. In Aarhus, it stands in front of the city hall. The same goes for Copenhagen. The lights on both trees were lit on the first Sunday of Advent. This always attracts eager children and those young at heart, and the tree lighting ceremony is often part of a larger event. At home, especially in households with children, Christmas trees are starting to make their way indoors now, usually about 10 to 14 days before Christmas. The trees are typically either a Norman fir or a Norway spruce. Unfortunately, a Christmas tree can't stay fresh forever. If you buy a cut tree and want to keep it fresh and green for as long as possible, well then it's important to cut 1 or 2 centimeters off the trunk and place it in a bucket of water outdoors, just for a couple of days before bringing it inside and decorating it. It's also helpful to use a tree stand with a water reservoir so you can water the tree indoors daily. A Norway spruce can last 1 to 2 weeks indoors with water, depending on the room temperature. The warmer the room, the shorter its lifespan, because it starts shedding needles. Norman fir, on the other hand, can last up to 6 weeks in water. That's also why Norman fir is more expensive than Norway spruce. A Christmas tree from a supermarket or plantation can cost anywhere from 150 to 600 kroner, depending on the height, type, time of purchase, and demand. Of course, there are alternatives to the traditional Christmas tree. We'll hear about some of them in this little interview with my colleague Eskil, where I asked him when and where he gets his Christmas tree. Hi Eskil.
Hi.
So do you usually have a Christmas tree at home?
We do, yeah. Sometimes several. We'll obviously have one big one in the living room. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes I'll put up like a small one right outside and maybe one in the conservatory. I really like the Christmas trees for Christmas, yeah.
Do you buy a cut tree or cut one down yourself?
Well, a little bit of all of those options. The big one in the living room, we'll cut that down ourselves. It's become a tradition to go out and find one and cut one down and take it home and then get it ready for Christmas. The other ones, if we decide to get more than that, like put one, like a small one outside or another one in the conservatory or orangerie or whatever you want to call it, that would probably be one that I just picked up somewhere. There's a local Christmas tree shop where I know that if I buy it there, some money goes into the local wrestling club, stuff like that. It's been like that for years. And so, I mean, if I get more than the one that we cut down ourselves, I'm going to buy them one of those places, I think.
I really love that approach, like supporting something local. That's amazing. And now for the big question. Do you usually choose Norman fir or Norway spruce?
Well, you're getting into this is a very controversial subject. I like, and I would love to have Norway spruce for the big one in the family, like in the big living room. Mm. They are becoming harder and harder to find, especially if I want to cut one myself. Mm. So I might have to settle for a Norman fir. It's the most common choice, I think, in Denmark. I bet it's like 95% of Christmas tree sales in Denmark is probably going to be Norman fir. But I really like the Norway spruce. I think it's probably because I was used to that growing up. For whatever reason, and when I was growing up, at least in my home, it was the Norway spruce. But my grandparents, they would have the Norman fir, and we would have Christmas. We would be with them at their house for Christmas, just like as many times as we were at my home, my house. So I don't know. It's just I really like the Norway spruce. I think it's a beautiful tree. I think it's more cozy. It's a more welcoming, warm. Just the color. It's more kind of reddish and golden somehow. I really like that.
Now, moving into new territory, could you imagine stopping with the Christmas tree tradition for environmental reasons?
I use the tree for other stuff when I'm done with it. I'll cut off the branches and put them out in the garden to kind of warm the trees out there. I'll make a fire. I'll use whatever is left of the tree once I'm done with it. But I really kind of like the idea of. I think I read somewhere some people started renting out Christmas trees. And so they bring the Christmas tree to your home, and then after Christmas they'll come and get it again, and they'll put it in the soil somewhere. And after a couple of years, when it's become too big, they'll plant it in a big forest where it came from originally. I think it's a beautiful thought. As beautiful of a thought that is, I would be robbed of the wonderful experience of going out, finding a tree, picking it with my son, cutting it down, taking it back home. And I really think that experience, that's a story to tell.
That was great input. If I'd asked my father how they did it in Greenland, he would have said that they drilled holes into a broomstick and inserted juniper branches into it. This is a tradition unique to Greenland, as the island has no fir trees. Maybe this gave you something to think about? No matter your tree decisions, I wish you a lovely 14th of December. Thanks again for listening, and take care until next time.